Well, guys, today is a big day. If you've been around here for a while, you might guess why it's a big day. That's right, we're building an island, and this is our base. It may not look like much now, but we're going to add some character to it. Literally, all you're going to need to start is 2 base cabinets and some butcher block to go on top, and then we're going to get some cabinet-grade plywood for the back. We'd measured and laid out the space in painter's tape, but it's so nice to see that it actually functions with our family moving around in here. Here's a great hack to build up cabinets and base to make them not just look like cabinets, but more like a piece of furniture. These 2x4s get drilled into the bottom of the cabinet, and you will not see them at the end. We're going to cover them with a piece of base trim, but it's just going to build up the bottom so you have something to drill into later. And as you can see, we added a layer of plywood to the back. Make sure that you get cabinet grade plywood because that's going to be the stuff that actually has a nicer finish to it, and you don't have to do a lot of work refinishing and sanding it down. Now it's time to start adding some character to this piece. What we're going to do is you're going to go to this section at Lowe's. It's like plank paneling. This is exactly the product that we used. It's a double-sided product, and we've used it in multiple spaces in our home, but it's got beadboard on one side, and it's got like a wood planking on the other side. And we're just using a brad nailer here to nail it into the existing cabinet structure that we've built. Then you're going to want to find a nice piece of chunky trim for the bottom. I believe this is 4¼ inches. So it's not going to be too wide that your cabinets won't close, but it's also going to cover up those 2x4s that you put in at the front of the cabinets. It will make such a nice finishing touch at the bottom of your cabinets and will help it to look like more like a piece of furniture than just like cabinets stacked on the floor. And so we didn't have to worry about mitering the corners here of the beadboard pieces. We actually used this corner piece from Lowe's, and then what I'll do is I'll just caulk this a little bit so the gap is a little bit less noticeable before I paint it. Okay, so full disclosure, the one thing that I didn't love about how this project was turning out at this point, and it did grow on me at the end, was that I didn't love how the butcher block was not as thick. It's thick. I'm trying to think about it's not as wide as I would have liked it to be. I was hoping it would have more of an inch overhang, and from our calculations, it should have, but the cabinets ended up being just a little bit deeper than they really said they were going to be in the specifications online. So if that's going to bother you in your project, then you're going to have to figure out another solution for that. Personally, it was something I was willing to live with because that's what we had and I was okay with it. But you can see here how the cabinet faces come out farther than the butcher block. Here is the painting after I finished on day 1. I used a color called Jogging Path that we actually used on our hutch right over there. And I believe that it's only at 50% strength, but do not quote me on that. The kind of paint I feel like is super important. I used paint that was recommended to use on cabinets and has a really, really nice finish, and I feel like it's got something that helps level out the paint. And I opted to use a butcher block conditioner on here instead of actually staining the butcher block, which is the first time I've done this, but I'm really loving how it looks. I feel like it looks really nice and natural, and it'll make it food safe too. Well, we may not have everything painted yet. I was a little worried to paint these cabinet faces because they seem slick, but we did get this trash installed, which feels like a luxury to not have a freestanding trash anymore. It fits perfectly in this cabinet. I made kind of a controversial choice by buying these counter stools because I know they are going to be tricky with kids. I also know that I'm going to be using a lot of Scotch Guard on them and just praying that we're going to be able to make it through. You know, it's a risk that I'm willing to take. I think they're beautiful, they're sturdy, they feel great, and I love how they look with the island in the end. And here we are. This is how the finished product looks. I used the same hardware that we used on our hutch. This is our tea drawer. My son told me we had to move that from our hutch here. We honestly have not filled it with the best storage yet. We're just kind of functioning with it, using it more as a counter space and trash holder than for other storage. We are putting our cloth napkins for easy access right here, so our children are not tempted to wipe them on the chairs, but can use a napkin right there. And obviously the trash is right here too. While these chairs might be a little controversial, I have to say I love them so much, and I feel like they make the island just look so beautiful, and it brings it all together in my mind. They're high quality, they feel so sturdy, and they're really comfortable to sit in, and I think just the look ties everything together so well. Okay, now I have to know your opinion. So I painted this the jogging path color, the same as I painted the hutch over here. And I'm thinking I also want to use that same color on the lower cabinets that are wood and keep the upper cabinets wood. I don't want to totally take the wood tone out of the kitchen, but the wood on the floor kind of clashes with the wood on the cabinets in my mind. So I'm thinking about painting the bottom cabinets with this color as well. Let me know what you think. I hope this encourages and inspires you to try a project like this. Let me know if you're going to try something similar. But for the amount of work that we had to do for this was actually a really high impact project. It was really not that difficult, and I think the results are beautiful. We love it.